As F1 lines up for the first race of the season in 2025, Lewis Hamilton won't be in a Mercedes for the first time in over a decade. It will be a monumental moment for the seven-time world champion, for Ferrari and for the sport as a whole. For Ferrari though, it's a serious chance for them to prove that they can still be serious title contenders. And for Hamilton, it's a chance for him to move on from a painful final 4 years of his life at Mercedes and prove he's still the same driver who broke almost every record for success in F1. But Ferrari are taking a massive risk to try and make that happen. And today I'm going to check it out, so don't go anywhere. While the 2024 F1 season has only just ended, 2025 is going to kick off before you know it. Lewis Hamilton's first Ferrari Formula One car will break cover on February 19th, a day after the sport's inaugural season launch at London's The O2 to mark its 75th anniversary. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur revealed the date during the Italian team's annual Christmas media event, this year held at their Fiorano test track. Vasseur also confirmed the team will run the 2025 car on February 19th, but did not give any more details as to who will drive. With Ferrari planning on running the 2025 car, this will count as one of their 2 allowed filming days for the year. Running one of these filming days as a pre-season testing test is pretty common for F1 teams. It's a great chance for them to shake down the car, making sure that nothing's going to explode or fall off it before they head to the official 3-day preseason testing. Any time lost during that 3-day test is painful for the teams, as it's valuable data that is just completely thrown away. Over the 200 kilometers of allowed running on the 19th of February, Ferrari will look to pinpoint any potential problems with their new car. Shakedown pace is typically slower than in a race situation, with the F1 machine often joined on track by a filming car, and the priority being to ensure everything is working as expected rather than to test performance. In any case, cars must be fitted with special Pirelli tyres made specifically for these runs to avoid teams gathering tyre data that could be useful in a race. These tyres have less grip than those on a Grand Prix weekend. They're often extreme editions of the hard tyre compound, combined with some grooves which are often seen in wet weather tyres. The big excitement for Ferrari fans at the session will be seeing who gets to drive. Considering Lewis Hamilton is Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari will definitely be keen to get some footage for their sponsors with a 7-time champion in the car. Getting Hamilton in the car will also give him some extra opportunity to get used to the team and his new vehicle. The now ex-Mercedes driver famously does not like doing simulator work, actively avoiding it at Mercedes a lot of the time. That might be a problem at the new team, with a new car which is going to drive very differently to how his Mercedes has done for the past few years. So anytime he can get behind the wheel of the Ferrari will be advantageous in helping embed into the new car and the team as a whole. Following their event at Maranello, Ferrari will head straight to Bahrain for 3 days of testing, which begins on February 26th at the Bahrain International Circuit. Hamilton and new teammate Charles Leclerc will get 1.5 days of running between them at the desert venue before the season opener in Melbourne, Australia. Hamilton's exact start date at Ferrari is being kept secret. Team principal Fred Vasseur did confirm, however, he'll have some running in Ferrari machinery before Bahrain to help him get comfortable with his new surroundings. We'll have a couple of test days with testing of previous cars and Pirelli tyre test running before Bahrain, Vasseur said. It's a very short period. At the end of the day, you have the launch of the car on February 19th, then we're going directly to Bahrain for the first test and to Melbourne. It means this will be a rush, but I'm not worried at all. He's coming with experience of this. He did almost 20 seasons in F1, and he'll manage perfectly this period. Hamilton won't be the only thing that is new about Ferrari in 2025 though. Obviously, every team will be turning up with a new car for the new season, but just how new will vary. With it being the final year of the current regulations, it wouldn't have been a surprise if many teams arrived with a car pretty similar to last year's. The longer a set of F1 regulations go on, the less there tends to be to find in them. The amount of performance still available for teams to discover decreases, and most upgrades become small optimizations rather than big overhauls of their cars. However, that won't be the case for Ferrari in 2025. They're going all in on next season. Ferrari is setting up a completely new project that sees changes in all the macro areas of their single-seater, from the chassis to the position of the driver and the engine, to the mechanics as well as the aerodynamic surfaces. We're in the 4th year of application of this regulation, and we know our previous project very well. For this reason, the 2025 car will be completely new, Fred said during the Christmas lunch with the media in Maranello. It is a massive risk for Ferrari. They finished the 2024 season as one of the fastest on the grid. While they couldn't best McLaren in Abu Dhabi, they did get the better of their Constructors' Championship rivals over the final 6 races of the season. Fred has insisted that this is a calculated risk, even if in the current regulations, sometimes you have the feeling of not running any risks, but then on the track you realize that they really were. There will be some huge changes to the front end of the car, where the suspension will become a pull rod design, following the philosophy already used by McLaren and Red Bull. Linked to that massive mechanical step forward, the aerodynamic surfaces of the floor will also undergo a strong restyling. Surprisingly, compared to the car that won 5 of 24 races during the season that just ended, Vasseur stated that the 2025 Ferrari will share less than 1% of the current car. This is a big risk for Ferrari, but if it pays off, then a first Constructors' Championship since 2008 and a first Drivers' Championship since 2007 could be the reward. Can Hamilton make the most of this risk though, or will it be Leclerc who comes out on top? Well, before I talk about that, if you're enjoying the video and want to make sure you stay up to date on everything happening in the run-up to the 2025 F1 season, then give this video a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So with Hamilton on his way to Ferrari, expectations are high for next season, but he's headed there off the back of his worst ever F1 season, and not just because it was his lowest ever finish in the F1 Championship. Last year, George Russell comprehensively outperformed the 7-time champion in qualifying. Vasseur admitted Hamilton had had tough moments in qualifying, but added that he was never worried about the situation. The Frenchman pointed to Hamilton's very good races in Las Vegas and Abu Dhabi at the end of the season, and said he believed that the difficulty of handling his final season at Mercedes had an impact on his performances. Vasseur said, "I am really convinced, and I don't want to blame Lewis or Mercedes, that this situation is not easy to manage, and I can understand if it's not going well, you can suffer in this relationship." He was not very well in his mind, and he was clear about this in Brazil, but he also did very well on the last couple of events, and I'm not worried at all. While Fred might not be worried about Hamilton's qualities as a driver, he probably should be worried about how Hamilton and Leclerc are going to work together as teammates. At times in 2024, Sainz and Leclerc clashed on track, with team orders being ignored in pursuit of personal glory. No one should expect Hamilton or Leclerc to give each other any quarter next season as they both pursue the Drivers' Championship. Asked how he would handle the competitive tension between Hamilton and his new teammate Charles Leclerc, Vasseur said this was always a challenge between drivers in the same team, but that it would push Ferrari forward. "Charles, Lewis, I'm not particularly worried about this," Vasseur said. "They have a huge mutual respect. They know each other. They've been talking about this for months now. It is much better to fight for first and third or second and third than to fight for 19th and 20th. It's a good issue for a team to have this kind of discussion and approach, and I'm really convinced again that the performance of the team is coming from the emulation between the two." Do you agree with Fred? Are you not worried about the two as teammates? And do you think that Ferrari are taking too big a risk changing so much of their car for next season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out our merch store at f1reverse.com for some sick F1 inspired gear. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.